And now, the Miles Beyond 300 Roadshow, presented by Mitas Tires. Here's your host, Miles Krieger.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this is session number 2 of the Miles Beyond 300 Roadshow, and we're glad you're here with us. For those of you that are streaming on NTPA's website, we're sorry that we had a little bit of a technical difficulty during the afternoon session, or this morning session. We're hoping we've got things worked out a little bit, but there are 20,000 people here at Pulltown, USA over the course of this afternoon in the stands, and as anything is typical with communication, we flooded several networks and we weren't quite able to manipulate them to work in our favor, which is very unfortunate, but certainly we appreciate those of you that are tuning in on NTPA's stream. I cannot say enough about my support from Mitas, and they have come on board as the presenting sponsor not only of Miles Beyond 300, but also of this roadshow. And we're going to take the roadshow for the first time on to the Enderley Pull-Off here in just about 3 weeks in September. So please make sure that you work to find a way to be there with us. We're going to have some cool door prizes to present there again. But session number 1 is in the books here at Pulltown, USA. We had 4 fantastic classes of competition. As it seems, though, last year's winners were the ones that came back again and did fantastic today. Two-wheel drive winner, last year's ring winner, Jesse Petro. He's going to be here with us shortly. Dave Whalen, who was the ring winner in the Super Farm class last year with My Last Excuse. He just did it again and won that afternoon session. Brian Korth was the light Superstock champion last year with the ring. He did the same thing again this afternoon and won the class. And then Josh Blackburn, who will be with us on the road show tomorrow, he won that first session. His dad, the ring winner last year, was second. And over the last 5 years, the Blackburns have not lost a ring here at Bowling Green. So we're going to get right into the show. I'm certainly glad to have these guys back for the second consecutive year. When you think about ideas, when I have ideas to go, I call them my brain trust. These two gentlemen that are coming up here are in my brain trust. They are the guys that I throw ideas at all the time. And so fresh out of their two-wheel drive trucks and straight here to the stage with us, we're going to bring Joey Fraser, the driver of the Champion Spark Plugs and Full Pull Motorsports sponsored running block, and then Jesse Petro, who today didn't drive just one but drove 3 trucks. He drove P5, Two-Timing, and the Buckeye Hauler. So gentlemen, come join me please, and let's come right here and have a little bit of a conversation. We're going to start with Jesse because I just joked with him a little bit about how I feel like I might very well be the good luck charm. You know, last year we started this whole deal with the road show, and right off the bat, you guys were my first interview on Friday afternoon after that first session, and you won the class. Now, you're the first person I asked. I sent you the text message. I need you guys to come back and be a part of my Friday afternoon session, and Mr. Petro, you just won again. So, what's it mean to you to be back in the winner's circle again? You're on your way potentially to that second ring.
Yeah, it feels great. You know, the amount of trucks, the amount of quality trucks that are here, and to come out with a paycheck, let alone, you know, finish up in the winner's circle and get the win today is it's a really great feeling, and just a lot of hard work, a lot of great help, and it's this place just keeps continuing to get bigger and bigger every year. And that's a good thing, and to be able to be, you know, on top once again, it's a great feeling.
All right, Joey, I'm going to come to you now, man, because things have we've always talked about numbers, and there were 53 two-wheel drive trucks today. How do you guys prepare from the first truck, from the Petro team, to when Randy ran as the last truck? It was almost an hour and 45-minute, 2-hour span there. You guys had some time, but not a whole lot of time to go make changes and to really adapt. What's it like running against so many trucks?
Well, part of that is just to get through all that, you got to be really prepared and be organized and have a good plan set in place. And then when we have as good of a crew that we do, you know, it's easy to execute the way that we want to and to get all 5 trucks down the track. Whenever you're in a big class like that, I mean, you really can't change your routine too much as far as the pulling itself. You just try to get down the track as far as you can, and I hope that you don't, you know, end up down the pack like I did today. But at least the other 4 trucks ended up good, and so that's a good thing.
Well, while you've got the mic, I'm going to go ahead and ask you this question. You had a fantastic winner. it wasn't just a fantastic winner in terms of your competition and what you did on the track, but it was a fantastic winner in what you were able to do in terms of sponsorship. Tell me what it was like competing not just in the Champion Spark Plugs competition, but also in signing your contract or your deal with Full Pro Motorsports.
On the Champion Spark Plug side, we got into that Search for a Champion contest, and had a lot of support and following from the pulling community to push me into the top 15. And we ran a pretty strong campaign for the grand prize. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, but it wasn't for a lack of effort and for a lack of support. So I was really proud to be a part of that and to be on Team Champion now with so many other good racers. And then with Full Pull Motorsports, it's something that I'm also pretty proud of, because Bob Barbie came to us and wanted to put Full Pull Motorsports on the side of Run and Block, and it was just a perfect fit considering it's a Full Pull Motorsports chassis. We got a lot of Full Pull Motorsports components on the other trucks, so it works out really well.
All right, and Jesse, I'll come back to you, and you can just keep that. I'll just hand it over to you. That way you guys don't have to pat me on the back with the microphone there. But, you guys are, in terms of the class, in terms of two-wheel drive pulling, but also in the sport, there's a truck out there called Research and Development. That's Tom LaRue's truck, but I feel like you could name every one of your trucks that, because you're constantly changing and pushing the envelope in what you're doing. You're developing your own chassis. You're working on motor configurations and all of those things so that you can stay in front of the curve. Where do you guys hope to go from where you're at now, and what inspires this continued pursuit of staying in the front?
Well, it's a pretty tough question to answer completely, because sometimes you don't know how far to go. Sometimes you got to take a step backwards to take two steps forward. And we knew what we had with some of the trucks, with Buckeye Hauler and with Joey's trucks, with Joey's truck. We knew what we had, but we wanted to try to get a little bit better. So we built the truck that's called P5, and it's got some different components in it here and there, and we built it a little different than the others. With ideas that we thought was good off of Buckeye Hauler and was good off of two-timing and things like that. So we try to, collaborate on things that we liked, and I was real proud of the run that it made today. We made some changes a couple weeks ago with it, and it seems to really have helped. And this winter after Louisville, we pretty well made the decision that we was going to build my dad a new truck. He's been saying he's going to cut the old one up for 10 or 15 years, and it just keeps going out there and does pretty well. So we left it in the top of the trailer after Louisville and started on a frame rails and stuff the week after the farm show, and got this truck put together, got it wrapped by Nick at Motor City the same time that he did Joey's truck from Full Pull and Champion. And we made some test runs. We got a little bit behind the 8-ball with it, and I think it's coming around. You have to keep moving forward, but it's hard because you don't know how far to push things. So that's why we try to go to as many region and state hooks as we can. And sometimes we look stupid, but sometimes you got to learn what not to do before you can learn what to do. So sometimes we're trying different things like that. So the motor program, Bob's done an excellent job with providing us the parts and pieces that we need to continue to be successful. The supercharger world is pretty crazy right now. There's 4 or 5 guys that are really pushing the envelope, and that's where a lot of our horsepowers came from the last several years. So just real fortunate to be involved with Chuck, and he does a real good job for us, and looking forward to texting him and telling him the good news. So it just takes an unbelievable amount of people and an unbelievable amount of time and money to get this stuff down the track. And to do it at this level, it's just it's a blessing to be able to be in this position, year after year. I mean, it is a lot of work, and it's more of a job than fun anymore, probably. But it's what we do. It's all we know, and I hope to continue to do it as long as we can.
You see why I wanted this guy to come join me on the stage? You just ask him a question and he goes right into it. So he's a polished interview. There's no question about it. And Joey, let's recap 2015 a little bit for the Petro Motorsports team. Let's talk about, let's take it all the way back to the Winter Nationals and some of the things that you guys have done and what you've achieved. You are the statistician among the two-wheel drive class. You do a fantastic job, and I value what you do in terms of event wins and tallying those totals. But let's talk just a little bit. Give me a recap from January all the way to now so far on just what you would grade Petro Motorsports performance.
I mean, I think you got to give us an A so far. I think the only thing that would be an A plus is if all 4 trucks were in the top 4. Obviously, that's really hard to do, especially with the competition nowadays. But no, we've had a really good year. With you bringing up the statistics, that's a really good day to bring that up, obviously, because today was Jesse's 50th Grand National win. He's already number 1 on the win list for two-wheel drive, but that just adds to his career, and I'm really proud of him.
Absolutely, and this will be, I have 2 questions for you. I'll ask this question for you, Jesse, and then I'll let you both kind of go into my final question. But in January, you became a father, and she's sitting right out here, and she's got a Miles Beyond 300 onesie on, which makes me smile even more there, folks. But, tell me what having Audrey has meant to you and how that may change even your perspective on everything. And then after that, fellas, I want you to tell me what it's like here. I asked the same question last year, but what does Camden, Ohio think about truck and tractor pulling, and what does Liberty, Indiana think about truck and tractor pulling? When you guys go home, do they know that you just went to the national championships and competed at the highest level, and do they know that you've won championships and the farm machinery show and that sort of thing?
Well, the first thing, it's been unbelievable. She's such a great baby, and I don't know any different. I haven't really been around a lot of small children, but Jess does a great job, and my mom does a great job with her, and Jess's parents do a great job with her when we can't be there. But we both made the decision that we were gonna just completely incorporate her into our life and lifestyle, and not try to alter the way we live, and just adapt her into it. And thankfully, she's been very good with that, and that's obviously been very less stressful for us as new parents. So she's. I mean, there's days where we have to wake her up, because it's like, hey, we got stuff to do here. So we've been real fortunate so far, and looking forward to it. And okay. So with that, it's she's been to the last 3 or 4 events with us. So I'm just very fortunate, very blessed that number 1 that Jess likes to come pulling too, and hopefully Audrey will continue to come. And it makes you think differently. But on the same token, I have to learn patience. Number 1, I'm not probably the most patient person, so I do have to learn that, and I have to be better time management, to equal out, because we could go to the shop and work 7 days a week for 12 hours a day. Anytime you own your own business, there's no off day. I told the kid at the pizza shop the other day, I said, I don't know what day it is. I said, every day is the same day to me. So you have to kind of learn how to balance family and work, and I mean, this is work for us. So, we have to learn how to balance that out. But it's been great so far. I'm really looking forward to it. And as far as the second question, I mean, we have probably a pretty close, small group of people that know, what we do, and that follow us along. Joey does such a great job with the Facebook page and the social media stuff, that the people that we know, that we want to know how we do, they know. So that's what's important to us. We're pretty fortunate. We have very good neighbors that look after things and that like to come to the poll when they can, when we are close by. So that aspect of it is good. So there's not a lot of complaints coming out of our camp. And I hope to continue that. But I know, we all know that we have a very large target on our back, and that everybody's continuing to keep coming after us. And as they say, good Lord willing, and the creeks don't rise, I think, something like that we're going to keep after it and try to keep up here. So just appreciate everything you do, and to continue to grow the sport, and thank everybody, all this people. This place is just unbelievable. I mean, I don't know when it's going to stop, if it's going to stop getting bigger, you know. So it's just such a cool feeling to come here every year and continue to see it grow like it does.
Yeah, just to echo him a little bit about being from Liberty, Indiana. There's a lot of people from around that area, like he said, that is interested in our team and how we do. A lot of family that keeps up with all that, and yeah, we're in a pretty good spot as far as polling. A lot of people are interested in it. We're essentially located for a lot of polls. We got a lot of polls, 20 minutes down the road, so that makes it easy for people to come watch.
Folks, will you do me an honor, please, and give these guys a nice round of applause? They came straight from the track in here for me, and they haven't even made it back to the trailer yet, so we're going to let them make their way back to the trailer and celebrate a win. They'll be back in action tomorrow evening in session number 4 in the two-wheel drive class. Again, the Petro Motorsports guys, Jesse Petro, Joey Frazier, thank you guys so very, very much.
Thank you.
You guys that were here with me this afternoon, we wrapped a helmet. The helmet will be donated to Make-A-Wish. We did not get it completed before the session ended. Unfortunately, I made an error in judgment, and I didn't start with Nick as my interview, and because of that, we didn't get the ball rolling quickly enough with the helmet, but it turned out really nice. I'm proud of it, and we're going to donate that again to the Make-A-Wish auction. Last year, the helmet was $3,000 that we raised, so I'm hoping that we might be able to draw even more with that. If you have not signed up for a door prize, my mother is manning a table right back here with pink tickets. Please write your name on one of those and throw it in the basket. After we stop the live stream, we will draw for our winners in the baskets. I have 5 or 6 sitting out front. We'll give those away. Tomorrow night, of course, we'll have a few grand prizes. I've got some Gottman toys in the back that were donated by Gottman Toys, and hopefully maybe even a pass back here for the 50th anniversary. But my next interview is a gentleman who was in the sport pretty heavy as a pro stock tractor competitor. He stepped away from the sport to get immediately into construction on a new tractor that he brought out about 4 weeks ago. And so please help me in welcoming Ryan Walters out of Wharton, Ohio, to the stage. Make sure that is on. And Ryan, first and foremost, sir, let me tell you, welcome back to pulling. It's good to have you back here with us a little bit.
Thank you very much. I'm really glad to be back. I missed it a lot.
Certainly, you didn't step away from pulling entirely. You just weren't competing. But let's talk about the project. Let's talk about what you've been working on and what you've brought here with you in the trailer.
Okay. Well, it all started with I sold my tractor 2 winters ago, and I was hoping to get out last year, but things didn't work out. So we started construction on the chassis. I started with a Humco rear end, and we got a bunch of tubing and started making our own frame, and we pretty much took off from there, designed it on AutoCAD, and got what we thought would work, and started there. But it turned out pretty neat, and Carlton Cope was a great help, giving us great ideas and leading us the way, and he built a great motor for us. So I got to thank him very much. I mean, this wouldn't be possible without him. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you can correct me if I'm wrong. I admit when I am wrong. But my belief is that your first tractor was Dan McCarn's Intimidator tractor.
Correct.
And it became the Chase and Tail.
Yes.
Then you built a new tractor, and you sold that tractor to the Deppens, which became Smokin' Deer.
Correct.
And now you've come out, but it's not a John Deere. What did we build?
It's a Massey Ferguson 2805 now with a 640 Perkins motor, V8.
And I guess how do you have the knowledge base to be able to build your own chassis and go to work with AutoCAD and creating all of those sorts of things?
As far as building the chassis, it's pretty much an experiment. I mean, try things and see if it works. Then if it doesn't, you try something new. My old job, I was a sprinkler contractor designer, so I did AutoCAD for that, so that gave me the knowledge to draw my own things up. And it's kind of just a research and development. We try new things every different year, and kind of like Jesse said, I mean, it's all learning as you go.
Absolutely. And one of the things I always seem to touch on here in these sessions is it's Bowling Green. And not everybody competes on Saturday night, but there's just something about a Saturday night crowd at Bowling Green when you have a full capacity crowd, the lights are starting to come up, What's that rush like when you roll out there on Saturday night, and especially when you roll out there with a new tractor?
I'll be very nervous. It's exciting. I mean, there's no way to describe it. You just go out there and you look up and you see everybody. It's an ultimate thrill.
And tell me finally, and certainly, I love the idea of hometowns. I know there are other pullers that are from your area, but talk to me about Wharton, Ohio, and the history of pulling in that area.
Wharton's pretty well known with the Bowdens. John, he's a legend, and there's just no way anybody could ever compare to him. I mean, he's all over. My wife's grandfather, Don Flowers, he pulled a Massey 2805 and 1155 at a pro stock back in the 70s and 80s, and her dad pulled the Black Knight, which is 1150. So that's kind of my main motivation to go to Massey, and I've always wanted one. But my dad also pulled a Pro Farm Massey for years, and it's pretty much a hometown thing. You want to be Massey. We farm with all John Deeres now, but it's just neat to do something different.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, from an announcer's perspective, the idea of having a little bit more variety coming to the starting line, it helps tremendously in terms of being able to get the crowd involved and a little bit more energy to come from it. And that's not knocking at John Deere or Case IH by any means, but that's predominantly what you see. So certainly having a Massey Ferguson out there helps tremendously. And you know, as far as you go and looking at what you can achieve in 2015, I mean, I wrote a reveal for my website about your tractor. You told me that your plan was to hit some OSTPA hooks, some Grand National hooks, even some Pro Pulling League hooks. But how do you grade what 2015 will mean to you as you head into 2016, and how do you give yourself a, you know, kind of an idea of the data that you've drawn and where you stand as you step into next year?
2015 will be a great learning curve for us. I mean, it's basically starting brand new with everything, so I'll just have to learn how to drive again, and being off a year didn't help matters. But so far we've done a pretty good job, and I feel that the tractor is going to work really well. So hopefully we come out here at Bowling Green and just move on from there and do really well.
Well, fantastic. Can you tell me as well, and I don't know where you're parked out here, but I know that I have to come find you because I'm going to take a little T-shirt home from my daughter that has that Massey on it. But where can these folks come find you potentially and grab a T-shirt, because they look pretty sharp?
Basically go to the east side of the pulling track and take the road out towards the campgrounds. We're right along there.
Folks, will you please help me in giving him a nice round of applause? This is Ryan Walters, and he's here with us. Of course, he'll be out tomorrow night and Sunday afternoon in competition with his new Massey Ferguson, known as Chase and Teo.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. All right, take a breath here for a second, and we're getting ready to bring, we've got two more interviews for you. Again, if you have not signed up, please make sure you sign up for door prizes. We've got two more interviews, and then we're going to move right into door prizes. I'm going to take a breather after this and get ready to get excited about Friday night session, my first full-time gig here as an announcer at the National Tractor Pulling Championship. So it's certainly humbling and an honor to be here. And for those of you that are live streaming, hopefully you'll be able to log on tonight to NTPA's live stream and watch as we have 5 classes of competition. But when you think about Miles Beyond 300 and my web page and getting started with my website, I started it 5 years ago. And about 4.5 years ago, I started to think about the idea of sponsorships and people who might support the web page. And one of the very first people that embraced the idea of Miles Beyond 300 was Brent Payne. He has a company called Gene's Machine Shop out of Ohio, and he does a tremendous amount of work in developing products for many of the competitors that you will see compete over the course of this weekend. But he also does some driving, and so when he offered to support and help the website, it allowed so much. It's inspired people like Mitas to look at the website that I have and see the reach that it can potentially bring, because it has allowed me to have dollars to invest back into promotion, like sponsoring a class here at Bowling Green or going and putting on contests and that sort of stuff. So I certainly can't thank the gentleman enough that's coming to the stage next, but hopefully you'll give him a nice round of applause. Brent Payne, come and join me, sir. I guess I'm making everybody sit on my right side because I'm right side dominant. I don't really know. I mean, I have nothing to do with my left side, I guess, is what you can say. But busy afternoon, no question about it, sir. As you guys were out here competing in the Superstock Open class, and I know not the result that you may have desired for the tractor that you drive, but not a bad afternoon at all for John, and being in the pull-off. Good passes.
Yeah, John's tractor's been amazing all year.
You may have
Couldn't
pulled
ask.
that closer to you.
Sorry. Yeah, John's tractor's been amazing all year. I couldn't ask for much better. I mean, when we started this deal out last year, they told us it couldn't be done. The V8s couldn't be beat. The rest of the guys in the 6-cylinder field were, they were basically giving up. And we, don't tell me that. I'm not going to let it happen. So, we've won 7 out of the 13 Grand National hooks this year so far, so we're pretty proud of that. And when you want to beat the best, you got to pull with the best. So, pulling with Josh and Terry Blackburn, and they're the best in the class. So I feel like pulling against them has really helped us get better as well.
Absolutely. There's no question about that. And you continue to work very hard to develop components and parts and pieces with your shop. Tell me what's new at Gene's Machine Shop, or GMS, as many of the people in the sport of pulling will know of it as.
Well, at GMS, we work on everything from farm stock tractors to unlimited super stocks. Our main focus is single turbo diesel. So in the super farm class today, we probably had 20 or 25 tractors in that class, complete engine wise and parts and things. And in the pro stock class tomorrow night, the same thing. In the lightweight super stock class, we had the several tractors in there that are running parts. So yeah, we've got a development program in each class, and it's a lot of work. Yeah, it's hard to stay on top of it, but us being here pulling at the same time helps that as well, because we know how the parts need to work. Not just the engine working, but the whole chassis and everything. So we kind of develop a program to help the customer be a better competitor, not just to have a good engine.
Absolutely. And tell me, you and I have chatted. I'm actually in the process of writing an article for the webpage that will highlight the new changes that are going on at Gene's Machine Shop with your switch to a new location. But all of this has kind of been your dream. You sat at your high school.
Or nightmare, whatever.
Yeah, you could say that too. Certainly your wife who's sitting out here, she might agree with you on the nightmare part, as she has to deal with you being gone a lot. But also she gets to watch you live out what you envisioned. It's becoming a reality. It's becoming something that you put a lot of time in and a lot of sweat in, and the next thing you know, your business is moving forward.
Yeah, my dad started bringing me here when I was, old enough to be carried in. So I've been to almost every Bowling Green full since I was, since 1979. So, so we started out then, and then we had some tractor stuff, and pulling, and I got hooked up with a man named Gene Sharber, and he had a small shop in Kentucky, and we went to work for him. And yet at that time we thought, okay, we're going to have enough to keep my lights on, keep my kids fed, and all that, And it's taken off a bit from there. We've got 12 employees now, and about 16,000 square foot of building space just to work on pulling tractors. So it's 7 days a week job, just about anymore. Never ends, all days of the year. I mean, we get Christmas off, so and sometimes I got to leave town just to get away. But yeah, it never in my life did I think that we were going to be doing what we're doing now, full time, with as much speed and energy as we've put into it lately. So.
Well, for the fans sitting out here, that's obvious. They can see your orange colors that you're flying, and people in the sport of pulling, they know what bright orange means. It means Earl Wells, and you have teamed up with Earl over the last 2 years to provide, I guess, pretty well all the prep work and maintenance work for his 2 Gallup Motorsports entries. Get a load of this and get a load of that, or Gallup 1 and 2, or however you want to call it, and then you've kind of inherited the driving duties of one of those as well. Tell me a little bit about the partnership and how it's all been going in your opinion, and then what it means to be back in the saddle after, you sold your tractor. It went out to the guys in the Outlaws that are running the tractor, and you kind of stepped away for a little while, but you're back in the seat now. And what does it mean to you to be a driver in terms of your business?
Well, we kind of, it's worked out real well. I built a lightweight super stock for myself, and I could see that was going to kind of become a problem with customers and things like that. So, and the tractor right now is doing very well. He's leading the Outlaw points, and he's been on a heck of a run this summer. By taking on the open super stock deal, I really didn't have a lot of customers in the class. I used to run the class years ago myself. We had done work for Earl for the last 10 years on and off, and finally he knew I sold my tractor. He said, well, this is a good opportunity for him and myself both. I'm in a little more in depth now than I thought we were going to be when we started out. I thought it was just going to be some maintenance and things, but yeah, that's a 7-day-a-week job too. I mean, there's 2 or 3 guys on that project every day, all year long, from building new parts and maintaining. And every weekend we go home and we tear them apart. So we'll leave here, tomorrow morning or Sunday morning, and we'll start all over again and be ready again to go pull on Wednesday, and we pull again on Friday, and then we're off till the end early. But yeah, it's a 7-day-a-week job, like Jesse and Joey said to say. I mean, it's hard to believe, but it takes that much effort every week to make it happen. And we always miss things. I mean, I had a bad ride today. I've been trying to work up a new combination, and it's coming around, but it's still not there yet. So, we're just going to do what we can do.
Absolutely. Well, I won't keep you much longer. I do want you to tell me a little bit more about just how you work to meet the customer demand at Gene's Machine Shop, because I know of your character, and I know of how personally you take each project that comes into the shop and the maintenance aspect of it, and ensuring that when it leaves, it meets the demand and the standard that you hold the company to. How do you work to do that? And in the peak season of pulling, how do you guys do it? How do you stay on top of it?
Well, we do the best we can. I mean, obviously, you can't take care of every individual person the best way you want to. In the last week, we've sent out 2 brand new Limited Pros. We had to rebuild an engine in one tractor, rebuilt the engine in both the lot tractors. We had 2 tractors come from Nebraska, a light super stock and a Limited Pro. One needed transmission gears, one needed a mag drive assembly built. And so everything we do is different. There's never 2 of the same anywhere. And to have the crew that we've got to be able to do all those things. I mean, we've got fabricators, we've got machinists, we've got cylinder head guys, even the guys that just sweep the floor and pick up the garbage. I mean, everybody helps out. And to get it all done is quite something. I mean, and to be honest, pullers are pretty demanding people. and not as many of them can afford to or want to stock parts on their own. So yeah, we do have to stock a lot of parts and a lot of inventory. And a lot of times we can do 1 or 2 or 3 day turnaround on most more common type stuff. We stock a lot of flat top pistons, which we machine off for different applications, and sleeve blanks and things like that. We can turn around really, really quick. When I started pulling, and I had Gene working on the engine for us, it was we were down for 1.5 years waiting on pistons and sleeves sometimes. So I mean, it was just the demand nowadays is so much greater. I don't spend a lot of time at home. My wife will tell you that. When I do, it's we get away and we leave town and go far, far away as we can, because somebody's always calling you. Even today, after in between every session, there's somebody there looking for something, some help, and happy to do it. We'll do what I can, but it does get overwhelming.
Well, I personally want to thank you for, like I said, you're one of the first guys that was an adopter of Miles Beyond 300. You have continued to support my endeavors, and last year you pretty well underwrote this whole project for me. So, folks, please give him a nice round of applause. This Sprint Payne.
Thank you. Thank you, Miles.
He'll be back out in competition again in the Superstock Open class. And again, last time, anybody that's walked in and has not signed up for a door prize, please make sure that you get it done for me. Fill out a ticket, and hopefully you'll have a chance to win a door prize. I've got one more interview. I'm going to bring up Bryce Howell. Let him come join me for a little while. I could not be more elated and excited to have announced at the end of July or the 1st of August that Mitas Tires had come on board as the title sponsor, presenting sponsor of the Miles Beyond 300 website, but also of the Roadshow. And those of you that know me and you know what my vision is to make truck and tractor pulling as big as NASCAR and as big as the NHRA. I believe in the sport. I grew up in the sport. I love the sport of truck and tractor pulling. And I just simply couldn't do it with my own pocketbook. When I launched the webpage, I promised my wife that $1 out of my billfold would never go to my webpage, the maintenance of it, or any of my crazy ideas, like the fantasy pulling league that we launched and lost a lot of money on, or one of those projects. But this particular project in general, the Miles Beyond 300 Roadshow, has been something that a lot of people embrace, and it was something that has allowed us to reach a lot of people, and it caught the eye, I guess, of Mitas and your attention, and of course Jeff, who's sitting here with us, who's flown in to be here and experience Bowling Green. But Bryce, thank you. Appreciate your support. I appreciate Jeff's support, and talk to me just in general about Mitas tires and educate these folks on exactly what Mitas tires do?
Well, Miles, we're super excited to be here and super excited to be on board. I think everyone can kind of put it in perspective that what you do for the sport of pulling is simply second to none. So when we got into this deal and wanted to, I guess, broaden our footprint, it wasn't how, but why, or it wasn't why, but how can we partner with you? So we're super excited to be on board. A little bit about Mitas. We're an agricultural tire manufacturer based. Our global headquarters is in Prague in the Czech Republic. We built a plant here in Charles City, Iowa in September of 2012, and essentially about everything that we will use here in the U.S. besides some certain sizes are produced here in the United States. A lot of people think that we haven't been around that long, or we're kind of a new company. That's not true. We've actually been producing tires since 1932. Where we got our mainstay here in the U.S. market was in 2004. We acquired the Continental Ag line. So since 2004, anything that's been branded Continental on the agricultural side of things is a Mitas tire, just a different nameplate on it. And then, of course, when we built our plant here in 2012, and more or less to support all OEM relationships that we have, whether it be with John Deere, Case, New Holland, and things like that, is when we really got our footprint here. But that's in a nutshell how Mitas got here and what we do.
Well, before we step into the idea of why it's a good idea for you guys to even be partnered in pulling and step into the realm of pulling, I used to travel a lot for my job, and your schedule is ridiculous if you really truly want my opinion on it. But tell me a little bit about what these next few weeks look like in terms of where you will be going and the people that you will be reaching, the end user that you'll find at a Farm Progress show or immediately when you leave here and head to Wisconsin.
I would agree with you in a certain extent. For the next month and a half, my schedule's a little hectic. My beautiful fiance sitting out here probably thinks the same thing. But pretty much I leave straight from here, go to Wisconsin for another farm show, and then Farm Progress, and Husker Harvest our guys will be out at, and Farm Science Review, Maggie show coming up. So pretty much any major farm show coming up here within the next month and a half, 2 months, we will be at, and would love for y'all to stop by and see us at the booth. Trying to get trying to get our name out there more and more over here, and so we definitely got some cool boots, got a pretty new cool product we're going to be demonstrating at the Farm Progress. It's called New Track, and if you guys are into new things and techie, you need to really take the time to stop by. We're going to have a display going and testing, and it's a project that we're all pretty excited about. So definitely, if you get out to the Farm Progress, come over and see us and check that out.
Absolutely, and for those of you that may not be able to go there, it's not too far away. It'll be in Decatur, Illinois, and it's coming up right around the 1st of September. And for those of you that are big tractor pulling fans, there's actually going to be a tractor pulling event going on that will coincide with the Farm Progress show. So farmers that are standing in front of me or watching this live stream, put an earmark on your calendar and make it out there, and then stop by and see this guy. But to your right is really, it's the reason you're here. It's the reason that Miles Beyond 300 is relevant to you guys. It's the reason that you guys might want to step into the sport of pulling. And let's talk a little bit about it. At first glance, and to the people that are out here watching, it looks like a slick that should go on the back of a dragster that would run on the NHRA circuit. It's a little larger than that, but certainly you guys are stepping into pulling.
Yeah, for sure. We started this process what seems like forever ago to us, but it hasn't been that long, and we decided to get into the sport of pulling, I think, just in the pure aspect of 90% of the people that come to this event are a farmer involved in production agriculture in some sort of way. So what better way to appeal to our end users and our audience that we want to really push our ag tires and stuff to than to be involved in the sport of pulling. As you said, it kind of looks like something going back John Force's drag car. We know those as a slick for the longest time. There's only been one game in town here in the pulling world, and those come pre-cut. No one's really ever tried to do anything different. So the great thing about our tire is it's kind of a blank slate to start with. Guys can try some different things. Whether there's a lot of guys that have couple sets of tires sitting at home, and maybe for a certain track, they've been there so many years, they know kind of what that track's going to be. They might throw a different set on. Well, instead of having kind of two sets of the same cut. You can have two sets as a blank canvas and give the guys the opportunity to try some different things. So we're pretty excited about it.
Absolutely. Like I said, when I walked through Gordyville in Gifford, Illinois in January and I saw it, I was like, that's pretty neat. And for me, it's something that caught my eye, and I can tell you that just in our prep time and setting up, there have been a lot of people to come look at the slick. As you guys start to move forward, we need to be honest and upfront. We're not selling tires yet. We're in a research and development sort of process right now. We're working to gain data. We're making tweaks. We're in the process of learning right now.
Correct. You know, we've been very fortunate to have some guys step up and work with us. And as a matter of fact, if everything goes good here this weekend, there'll be a set on the track. Hopefully, Mr. Schrammick with the young blood, if not here, Greenville, Ohio next week. But going to get them on. We're still in the testing phases. You know, that's one thing within our company. Me and Jeff probably, there's times the processes don't move as quickly as we'd like. But at the end of the day, it's a great thing because when we finally say, okay, here it is, and you guys can buy them, we're going to be 100% confident that we have a tire that can go out there and win and perform very, very well. So we're still in the testing phases. Things are moving along at a good rate right now, and we've had some really good luck with them and going to keep pushing. But yep, hopefully here soon. But we're still waiting to get it right. We want to make sure we got it right before we push it out there.
Absolutely. And the last thing I'll have you chat with about briefly is just we've talked about being able to see you personally. But where can these folks go and learn more about Mitas, and what are some of the things that they can certainly learn if they were to hit the website and to catch up on the webpage there?
Well, first of all, just to learn kind of a basis about our company, for sure, visit milesbeyond300.com. Miles did a press release when we came on board about the partnership, but that also covers kind of who we are, where we come from, things like that. If you go on to www.mitasag.com, that has all of our stuff from product ranges to different things we do. Or if you go on to mitas.com, that goes into some of the other stuff. We do have an industrial line, skid steer, backhoe tires, things like that, some motorcycle tires, some airplane tires, so it gives us a broad view of the thing. And if not, I will be around all weekend. You know, everybody stop by and see me. I'd love to chat with you or any of the farm shows coming up.
Absolutely. And folks, as I said in the beginning of this show, and I will continue to say it, none of this would really be possible without the support of the sponsors that are continuing to give dollars to Miles Beyond 300 and help generate opportunities like this. Jeff, Bryce, I can't thank you enough for your support of the webpage.
No, Miles, thank you, and we can't be more excited to be on board and keep growing this. So thanks for everything you do for the sport of pulling.
Absolutely. Bryce brought some T-shirts with him from Mitas. He's going to bring those out that direction rather than try to throw them in this building that's sort of tight already. I'll just have him make his way out there towards you. Please, if you're around and you're interested in having a Mitas T-shirt, grab one, take it with you, and make sure that you get to have one of those. As far as the road show goes and in our progression, we're back here tomorrow. The Rusty Tailgate Party will be taking place right here at this stage. We'll bring some of the legends out here to meet and greet with us, and certainly have a chance to do some further interviews. We're back tomorrow evening with our final session of the road show. If you have not signed up, please go sign up. Put your name in the basket for the opportunity for some door prizes. They're sitting right out front. You see the big heads that I have. I had those created, of course, just to bring a little bit more fun and excitement to the sport, and we're going to have some of those flying through the crowd again tonight. But on behalf of myself, Miles Beyond 300, Mitas Tires, all the sponsors that have been really, really helping, GMS, Race Pack, Let's Go Pulling, of course, a webpage that you can go and learn and get videos and things like that. We've got Nitrozilla, who donated the photos that we need right there. In order to be able to have the big heads made, you have to have high-resolution photos, and he helped me tremendously with that. All of the pullers that donated baskets, I wouldn't be able to have those out front without their donations, and certainly I appreciate that as well. So for those of you on the live stream, it will be farewell until I catch you tomorrow, and for those of you that are here right now with me, I am going to work on getting some tickets from my mother and draw out some winners. We're going to give away 4 or 5 baskets here, and then of course we'll be back tomorrow. As I said, got some grand prizes for tomorrow, a couple of neat things, hopefully a session pass back here for next year so you can come and be a part of the 50th. If you have suggestions on the 50th anniversary pull for right here at Pulltown USA, go to email info@pulltown.com. info@pulltown.com, and you'll be able to share your stories or your suggestions. Okay, folks, thank you so much. I'm going to grab the basket. We'll pass out some tickets here, or pass out some awards here. If you want to take a closer look at the helmet, it'll be right here after the show, and then I'm going to carry